Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Forum. Andrew June Donovan here, and today we're talking about a heated topic. This is the placement strategy topic. So I'm really excited for this Facebook Live because this is something that I feel really confident in talking to you about, and I know that placements gets to be kind of a shaky, sometimes really confusing area, even for people who have been building doTERRA for a number of years. The tricky thing with placements is while you can operate by a number of strong principles and guidelines that govern your placement strategy, there's never any black and white. Sometimes things change depending on the situation. So I'm going to track your comments over here on my computer while I let you guys take a moment to just hop on live with me. And by the way, can you just let me know that you can give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me okay? I just want to make sure that audio is good with my little mic here. So I'm going to be on the blackboard here with you today, and of course today we are talking all about placement strategy. So if you work with me in 7 Steps to Residual Income, you know that I teach a really strict placement strategy. The placement strategy being one where you only build legs under CCs, committed and capable builders, which looks like this. So you've got you, and then underneath you, you have 1, 2, 3. Why is this plan not working? CC, CC, and CC. You see that? So CC means committed and capable builder. And if you're not sure what that means, just a quick little brush up. Committed means that you do what you say you're going to do when you say you'll do it. Capable means you can get people signed up in doTERRA. You can bring new people to the team. You can enroll people. That's what it means. And so, oh good. Thanks for the thumbs up, Deborah and Charlene and Vanessa. Good to see you guys. So, by the way, tell me in the comments as we're getting started here, where do you get tripped up most in placements? I know what I'm going to talk about here with you, and the hot topic today is, do you ever place customers or shares on your front line? And if not, why not? And if so, when would you do that? So that's what we'll discuss, but I want to make sure that I don't miss any of your important placement questions, so feel free to type them in the comments here and I'll get to those in just a minute. So first let's talk about why CCs are the people who go on your front line. The easy answer is if you're treating doTERRA as a long-term business plan, if it's a real professional thing for you, well, you're looking for how to create a sustainable residual income. Having your CCs right underneath you is the simplest way to do that. If I built a team where I put customers on my front line and shares and builders underneath my customers, who is ever going to be in charge of, let's say, something like your $1,500 power of 3? And I want you to understand what this would look like. So instead of putting CCs under you, let's say that you put a sharer under you or a customer and then started building a team underneath that person. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. Just understand the risk. The risk is what? If you're trying to build your $1,500 power of 3, is a sharer ever as committed to that power of 3 bonus as you are? No. Or if it's a customer, even worse, right? Is a customer ever really committed to a power of 3 bonus? No, they're a customer. They're not building this as a business. They might like the months when they get their $50 bonus, or if you've been really filling in all the holes yourself, they might like the months when they get the $250 bonus. But if they have a month where cash is short or where they're really stressed and they don't want to think about doTERRA, who's going to be committed to the $1,500 Power 3 bonus? Just you, not the share of the customer. That's the risk that you take. So I want to be up front here because I know that some of you guys are going to show this video to your upline, and placement strategies gets to be kind of a sensitive topic. I'm not here to tell you what's right and wrong. I'm here to expose you to a set of principles that will serve you in creating a long-term sustainable residual income with your team in doTERRA, and to also expose you to risks that you should be aware of regardless of what placement strategy you subscribe to. So the only placement strategy that I subscribe to is put CCs on your front line and build under the CCs. Why? Because it is the fastest way to independence, to creating actual time freedom in your business, to having your income be truly residual. So if you put 3 CCs on your front line, well, a CC, someone who's actually committed and capable, caveat, if you think someone's a CC, does that make them a CC? No. CCs actually keep their commitments. They actually get people signed up in doTERRA. Period. Okay? CCs actually keep all their commitments. They actually get enrollments. They don't have the potential to. That's not the same. All right? And a lot of you newbies are going to get tripped up if you don't listen to what I'm saying. a true CC does the work. They show up like a CC. They don't just have the potential to be it. Huge difference, okay? So when you call your upline and you say, oh my gosh, I have a new CC, it's my niece. And your upline says, well, what commitments have they kept? And you say, oh, well, she hasn't committed any or kept any. She hasn't even signed up yet. She's not a freaking CC, okay? CCs actually show that they're CCs. So the reason why I subscribe to the placement strategy of putting CCs on your front line is because if I have a CC here, guess who's in charge of that person's business? Is it me? No. They're in charge of their own business. And this person, who's in charge of that business? Me? No, they are. They're in charge of their own business. And that same thing for that person. Now, I'm in charge of my own business, of course, and each CC is in charge of their own business. So over a couple of years, as I groom this person into being a rock star builder, teaching them all that I know about enrolling and all the rest of the doTERRA business and help them become a leader, well, as they take on more independence, they're going to eventually start doing their own thing. And if I go on vacation or if I need to spend time with a sick family member, I'm okay because my business is super strong because they're still managing their own business. That does not happen when you build your legs under sharers and customers, because the only person who's in charge of a sharer or customer leg is you, me, right? Because they're not committed to an actual business. So they're not going to treat it like a business. At most, they'll treat it like a hobby. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, okay. So Darla says, what if you don't have any CCs? So that's where we're going here. Oh, Kathy, good to see you. So the question, of course, is let's say that I sign up a brand new builder, okay? And I teach this builder, we'll call her Mary, all right? I teach Mary everything you know about structuring a proper, sustainable doTERRA business. And I say, here's how to identify CCs, here's how to talk to them, here's how to bring them to me to do a 3-way builder prospect call, which is the process we use to enroll builders. And it takes Mary months. She's been in doTERRA for, let's say, 6 months, and she still hasn't found any CCs. Well, what do we do? Because all the enrollments have to get placed somewhere, right? So the short answer is we could consider what we call a placeholder strategy. Now, I'm going to tell you why that might work and all the risks associated with it, okay? Before I go into placeholder strategy, let me tell you the first thing that I would do. I would sit down with Mary and I'd say, it's time to have the shit or get off the pot conversation. All right? If you're doing doTERRA as an actual business, well, the only way to have a sustainable business in doTERRA is to start partnering with CCs, true committed and capable builders who are going to build doTERRA with you. All right? Can you build a small business in doTERRA with just a whole bunch of sharers? Absolutely. Yeah, if you've got a business, a doTERRA team that has 15 or 20 sharers, no actual builders but lots of sharers, you can generate lots of volume. You can put that volume in 3 separate legs and build a really strong silver team. And maybe you even have a really big silver team where you're making $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Maybe you even start placing that volume strategically and hit something like gold without any builders. Has it happened? Totally. Will it ever give you time freedom? No, because the only person managing, being a steward over that team is the one builder over that team. All the sharers don't have a true stewardship. They're not committed like a real builder is committed. Does that make sense to you? So the conversation that I would have with Mary first is, let's have the conversation about either shitting or getting off the pot, to be really crude, right? So if you're doing this as a business, you must have builders that are building with you. That's the only way to make it a sustainable residual income. That includes time freedom, all right? Because if you've got a team of just customers and sharers, you're gonna be the sole person managing that entire team. Make sense to you? Can I get a thumbs up? You guys in the Facebook Live, do you get this, what I'm saying? So the work that needs to happen is if Mary's struggling to find CCs and it's been 4, 6 months or longer, well, she's probably not doing what she's been taught to do. Because if you follow me and you work with me in 7 Steps to Residual Income, you know that we've given you scripts. We've given you an exact process to create a pool of people, filter that pool of people, and identify the people to talk to for your business. We've also taught you how to ask for referrals in the most natural, authentic way. So if I've got someone on my team, Mary, who isn't enrolling CCs, I can guess with a pretty safe guess that she's not doing the work to find builders. You guys, and that's the first rough conversation we get to have. If someone tells me, I've been doing doTERRA for ages and I don't have any builders, I know that that person is not putting adequate effort into finding builders. The people who don't have any builders are typically the people who don't talk about the business. They're the people who can talk about oils all day, day in and day out, do classes, sign people up, do wellness consults, maybe even get people in LRP, but they're not talking about the business. And if they are, they need to refine the way they're talking about the business. So that's the first conversation that I have with Mary. Why is that the first conversation, you guys, that I have with her? It's because the surest way to create a sustainable business, the surest way to find CCs is to do the work to find CCs. All right? That's the most sustainable practice. It's the practice that will have long-term results for your business. All right? So, that being said, and I'm going to come back to that in a second because some of you guys need to hear it like 7 times before you'll listen to what I'm telling you, okay? The next thing we'll talk about is what to do in the interim. If I've got Mary who doesn't have any builders under her, but she's enrolling customers, well, they have to go somewhere, right? Do I want to put all the customers on her front line? Probably not, because then I've just got a whole bunch of volume on her front line. We're not doing anything for the long term. So what might I do? This is where we introduce what we call a placeholder. Now, a placeholder, for those of you who don't know, is somebody who is, it's exactly what it sounds like. They're just saving a spot in your organization. So it might look like your grandma, someone you know will never build a doTERRA business, someone who isn't, they're not going to build, okay? But they trust you, you trust them implicitly, and you have the conversation that sounds like this. So, Grandma, I have kind of a funny question for you. You know I'm building my health and wellness business. It's going super well. I'm really excited, and I have a little bit of a structuring issue. I need to build a new leg, and I need a spot holder for that position. And I'm wondering if you'd let me put you in that spot. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything, although you probably will because you need deep blue and oregano and copaiba and deep blue complex and all that. But I just need someone to hold the spot for me. Would you be willing to do that for me for about maybe a month or 2 until I find someone to take that spot? That's the conversation you have. You enroll your grandma or whoever it is, and then you start putting your personal enrollments underneath them. All right? Now, let me explain the risks of this. First of all, that placeholder has 100% legal rights to that spot. So let's say that you put your friend there as a placeholder and she decides that she likes the $50 paycheck she's getting from doTERRA each month. Does she have to give up that spot when you find a CC to put in that spot? Nope, she can keep it if she wants. That's the first risk. The second risk, which is the biggest risk, is that this is one of the easiest ways to get distracted from what actually matters, which is finding your first damn CC. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So what I see people doing with placeholders is they'll say, I don't have any builders, so I'll just put a placeholder here. So they pay the $35, they enroll their grandma, and then they start placing people under the grandma. Well, if they fill this up and they've got a whole bunch of customers here and they're like, all right, well that leg's getting pretty full, what do I do now? I still don't have a builder. And so they enroll another placeholder and start putting customer enrollments there. And what trap do we find ourselves in here? We find ourselves in the trap of building the thing that we didn't want to build in the first place, which is a big doTERRA organization full of just customers, maybe a few sharers. That's not a sustainable residual income, time freedom inclusive doTERRA business. Does that make sense to you? So is placeholders the best strategy? No, not at all. The best strategy is to do the work to enroll some CCs on your team. If you don't have any, start with 1. If you have 1, start with the next one and go for 2. All right? So, okay. Hi, Janelle. I'm just checking up. Liza says, I love how blunt you are. Good. I'm glad you appreciate that. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any of your important comments here. So, all right, you guys, this is, and again, feel free to hop on here and follow the placements or ask me questions about this. So that's the risk of placeholders. So let's talk about this. Let's say that I go through with Mary and explain to her that if she wants to build this as a profession, she needs to start doing the work to finding builders. That's just how it goes, okay? And after we have that conversation, then we say, in the meantime, you're still enrolling customers. We have to place them somewhere. So what do we do? So the first option I would choose is to put 1 placeholder. If you have more than 1 placeholder, you need to get your ass off the couch and go do the work to find some builders, all right? That's just how it is. If if we can safely enroll one placeholder and not have it be a distraction or an excuse for you, then I would say, okay, fine, let's do that. And let's start putting your customers there, all right? If this team starts getting really full and you've got all these customers here, I know that you're not doing the work to finding your CC because you're enrolling all these customers under the placeholder without getting any builders. Statistically speaking, if you do the work, if you have the conversations, you will find builders. Even if you suck at talking about the business, the more you talk about it, the better you'll get at it, all right? And by the way, this is one reason why I spend so much time in my course, in my 7 Steps course, grooming you to have those conversations about the business, because you have to have CCs for a sustainable business, all right? So what happens if someone builds a placeholder leg and they never find their builder? What do we do then? Well, then we get to have this hard conversation again. We get to go back to the shit or get off the pot conversation, and in the meantime, you still have customer enrollments that you're getting, so we need to do something with them. So I want you to think about what resources you have in your team as far as placements movements go. Placements, what am I trying to say? Moving people, placements moves, all right? What resources do you have? The first one that you have access to is the easy one. It's the 14-day move, right? So that's the one that is the most common. The second one is the 90-day Wellness Advocate upgrade. That says upgrade. So if you're newer and you don't know what I'm talking about, when you enroll somebody in doTERRA as the enroller, during that new enrollee's first 14 days, you can move them one time, okay? If you enroll somebody as a wholesale customer, after 90 days, you can upgrade them to a Wellness Advocate and you get an additional 14-day move. So another part of this placement strategy might look like this. Let's say that I'm just really struggling to find CCs for whatever reason. Well, I could do this. I could put a sharer on my front line, someone that is placing an LRP order every month, and I let them know, look, it's my sister, it's my cousin, it's someone that trusts me a lot and I trust them. I tell them, I'm gonna stick you on my front line, all right, just for now, and I'm gonna start putting some of my customer enrollments underneath you. Well, when I find my next CC, I can either put them in that person's spot, or I can upgrade all these people to Wellness Advocates, that's a check mark, and move them all to my leg where I'm actually going to build a long-term sustainable leg. Does that make sense to you? So let's talk about the risks and the benefits of this strategy. The benefits are I can place my people somewhere for the short term. I can maybe even start building my power of 3 bonus because I've got 50-50 and another share here. And maybe I can build my power of 3 bonus without any builders. Okay, that's the benefit. It's a super short-sighted vision. It's a super short-sighted strategy. And it's one that is worth considering in some situations, because let's say that in this story, if Mary's been building for 6 months, I've got to get some money in her pocket, right? Builders don't stick around for very long if they're not making money in their business. So if I've been coaching Mary for months, she doesn't have any builders yet, I can't ignore her missing paycheck forever. So this might work to put some shares, placeholders on her front line and put customers under them, build the $50 bonus first, and then the $250 bonus while we're doing the work to find some CCs, all right? The risk is that these people have to upgrade to a Wellness Advocate by themselves. It's a really easy process. They go into their back office, they click the upgrade button in the top right corner, and they type in their social security number. Boom, they're now upgraded. If it's been 90 days since you enrolled them as a wholesale customer, you'll see that additional 14-day move in your back office, and you can move them to wherever you want them one time, all right? The risk is that maybe they don't want to upgrade. Maybe they don't want to put their social in, all right? Maybe they don't want to bother with the business side of doTERRA, okay? Those are the risks. You don't have a guarantee that you can upgrade them. And then the third risk, which is the biggest risk, is again, you're spending all this energy focusing on upgrading customers and moving them around and shifting 50 PV here and 100 PV there, just playing in this super small sandbox instead of getting out into the big, vast ocean of entrepreneurship where there are lots of hungry sharks that want to be CCs in a thriving business. And that is where most of your attention should be, not in moving 50 PV here and 25 PV there. That's so stupid, you guys. All right. For the short term, if you have to, is it worth considering? Potentially. All right? But where should your attention be? All right? So let me go and catch your questions here. All right. Vanessa says some are uncomfortable adding their social security number to upgrade. Exactly. That's one of the risks we talked about. Now, let me tell you here, Vanessa and everyone else with that concern, every customer I've ever asked to upgrade has done it. They're usually really nice. And this is how I do it. I just call them up and I say, hey, Vanessa, first, this is Andrew. I wanted to say thanks for being a loyal doTERRA customer. I see you ordering every month and I can tell you're loving your oils. I'm so happy. Have you had some amazing experiences lately? We built some rapport. And then I say, listen, I have a little favor. I need to move some people around on my doTERRA team. It will benefit me in my business and it won't require anything extra of you. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to just go into your back office on doTERRA's website and upgrade to a wellness advocate. All that requires is you'll put your social in and it won't change anything for you. You'll get your same discounts, you'll get your same rewards points. The only thing it will do is it will let me move you one time. Would you be willing to do that for me? Every time I've asked anyone to do that, they've done it. So it's not often that I do that because I've actually done this once where I deconstructed a dead leg and moved the people. Most of my attention goes into finding the right people and working with the right people, not into managing 50 and 75 PV here and there, okay? You guys, why do you think that I probably sound really mean right now. I probably sound kind of heartless. Why do you think I'm being so brash about this topic? It's because what I said at the beginning of this video, you cannot build a sustainable residual income in network marketing that gives you time freedom without having CCs to work with. If you've been sitting on your chair in your office for 6 months thinking, wow, I'm doing all this doTERRA, but I don't have any builders. I know that you are not doing what you need to be doing to find builders. I just know it, you guys, because even if you sucked at talking about the business, the more you open your mouth and talk about it, the better you'll get at it. And if you have no clue what to do, come work with me. Do 7 steps and I will teach you a proven method to finding CCs. And then you will have no excuses. I'm being brash about it because for all of you guys tuned into this Facebook Live, I know that you're here to make money in your business. And some of you guys have been spinning your wheels in the mud and you're wishing you could walk at convention and you're wishing that you had money to pay for your oils every month or that you were reaching your financial freedom goals or whatever it is. And instead of wishing, I would like to see you actualizing those goals. So I'm going to end this Facebook Live by discussing something really important. Hobby versus profession. Does profession have 2 F's? There we go. All right. Hobby versus profession. Why do you think that I want to talk about placement strategy in relation to hobbies versus profession? Too many people come to me for coaching. They watch my Facebook Lives and they say, hey, I'm doing this as a business, but, and then they tell me what's missing in their business. Most of these people treat their business as a hobby. All right. It's not a business for them. It's a hobby. I say I could analyze their business input. I could find out what their strategy is, or I could find out how many people they're putting into their pipeline, sampling, inviting, teaching, enrolling, following up through customer follow-up like wellness consults, inviting to the business, and then launching those who opt into the business. That's the pipeline. And most people are not treating that pipeline strategically. They're not doing it as an actual business. And that's why they're not finding builders. That's why they're not enrolling builders. And that's why they're not launching builders. When you treat this business as a profession, you understand that as any business owner, you've got a long-term vision. You've got a long-term strategy. Let's say that I were Sam Walton starting up Walmart. First of all, I would not start up Walmart because Walmart's an unethical business that I don't support. But let's say that I were starting that business myself as Sam Walton. I would have had a long-term vision, right? How do I create cheap products that are, damage local economies? But whatever, that's my business strategy. I have an opinion about that. I wouldn't have just focused on doing my business when I feel like it. I wouldn't just get out of bed and do it if the kids are all happy and if my marriage is pleasant. If I was starting that business, I would have said my vision is to have Walmart stores in 5,000 locations in the United States, maybe even international someday. And then I would have actions that I do consistently to move that vision forward. Well, if you want to have a really good placement game going on in your business, if you want to have the kind of business that gives you residual income and time freedom, where you're working with these rock star CCs, what's the first thing that you need to start doing to make that happen? It's treating your business like a business, meaning you don't just show up when it's convenient. You do it because you've committed to it. You do it because you're a CC, you're committed and capable, and you act like it. You show up consistently and you treat your business professionally, meaning every day, every week, every month, you've got things that you're doing to roll your business forward. Over time, your skills will sharpen, your confidence will grow more and more and more, and your results will begin to compound. As long as you're like on, off, like most builders do in this and every network marketing business, your chances for success are really, really slim. You're going to create a hobby income. You're not going to create a professional income. The professional income is a $1,500 bonus. It's a leadership rank where you're getting that silver bonus or that gold bonus and the leadership pool and all of that stuff. It's all of that comes from treating your business professionally, consistently over time. Does that make sense to you? So, okay, let me check your questions here. Janelle says, so not mean. Totally love your frankincense of this. Oh, frankness. Your frankincense of this. Vanessa says, some people are, okay, I already saw that one. Deborah, love your transparency. Nobody has time for smoke blowers. Blunt is best. Totally appreciate your insight. Good. Well, do you guys have any other questions about this? For some reason, Facebook Live is only letting me see some of this stuff and not all of your questions. So, oh, here it is. Okay. Any other questions about placement strategy? So just to recap here, one, the best thing that I could ever coach you to do with your placement strategy is find CCs and build your legs under CCs, all right? If you haven't been practicing that, start practicing today. It's never too late, all right? Because the reason why I'm committed to that is because I never intend to build a doTERRA paycheck that I'm a slave to. I intend to build a doTERRA paycheck that's indicative of a host of people whose lives have been changed and a few select rockstar builders whose lives have been impacted by the business opportunity, who have now taken independent ownership of their own business, giving me what? Time freedom. You like that? That's why I'm committed to this placement strategy. If it's taking you a bit to figure this out and to find some CCs, the first thing I'd recommend you do is get up and do the work, okay? Start having conversations. Start using the scripts that I've given you to go and ask for builder referrals, builder prospect referrals, to do the builder prospect calls with your upline, the three-way calls. Okay, start doing the work to find CCs and do it consistently. You guys, if I had no CCs in my doTERRA business, if I'm treating it like a business, that's probably like 15 or 20 hours a week that I've got. Do you know how many conversations I can have about the business in 15 to 20 hours a week? A lot. If I have no CCs, I should be allocating a huge chunk of that business time to finding my first CC, because that's my first big checklist to get rid of off my list, right? So the first thing I do is make sure I'm doing what's necessary to find CCs. The second thing that I would do, because I need to put my enrollment somewhere, is I might consider putting things under a placeholder like a share or a sharer. That might be the same person, just so you know, as a very short-term strategy, all right? And worst case scenario, let's say that I'm just the worst business talker in the world and I'm doing all the work and I'm still not finding CCs. Don't give up hope, okay? Keep at it, stay consistent, follow what I tell you to do, all right? Because it will work over time. You'll learn to get good at it. And worst case scenario, the third thing that you can do is stick with a short-term $250 Power of 3 strategy, where you will later on move the volume under your long-term legs, where you're actually going to build the business. All right. So if you have any other questions, post them in the comments. For any of you uplines who are watching this and you have a different placement strategy, forgive me for you know, I don't need to ask for forgiveness because this is the best placement strategy there is. So there's other placement strategy, you guys, that you'll be exposed to. Ones where you put your enrollments on your 3rd level and your 4th level and strategies that help you structure for rank and Power of 3 and things like that. This is the simplest principle that I can teach you. CCs on your front line, build under your CCs. That's my only message here, okay? The other things as far as placeholders and building under shares and customers, is it wrong? No. Is it right? No. Does it have some benefits? Sometimes. Do they have lots of risks? Yeah. So just be aware of the risks. All right. Thanks for joining me with this rant. Much love to you, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.